Narcissists are often perceived as mean, vengeful, and even downright cruel, and understanding the roots of these behaviors can be both fascinating and disturbing. At the core, narcissists operate from a complex psychological landscape that distorts their perception of themselves and others. The traits they exhibit, ranging from arrogance to vengefulness, are often symptoms of deeper, unresolved issues. To grasp why narcissists behave the way they do, it's crucial to delve into the intricate workings of their psyche and the dynamics of their interactions with others. Narcissists typically have an inflated sense of self-importance and an excessive need for admiration. This grandiose self-image is not merely a preference but a necessity for their psychological survival. However, this self-perception is often fragile, and any perceived slight or criticism can trigger intense emotional reactions. Narcissists live in a world where they are constantly striving to maintain an image of perfection, and anything that threatens this image, no matter how minor, can provoke an outsized response. This is why they are often seen as mean or cruel. Their need to protect their ego overrides any empathy or concern for others. One of the primary reasons narcissists are so mean is their inability to tolerate criticism or failure. For most people, criticism can be a chance to reflect and improve, but for a narcissist, it feels like an existential threat. Their self-esteem is so deeply intertwined with their self-image that any attack on one feels like an attack on the other. When a narcissist perceives that someone is challenging or questioning their worth, they respond with anger and hostility. This is often not just a defensive reaction but an attempt to reassert their dominance and superiority over the person they perceive as a threat. This need to protect their ego also leads to vengefulness. When a narcissist feels wronged, they are not content to let it go. They may harbor grudges for years, plotting ways to get back at those who they believe have slighted them. This vengefulness stems from their deep-seated need for control and dominance. In their mind, any form of disrespect must be met with retribution to re-establish their authority and to punish those who dared to challenge them. Another aspect of their mean and vengeful behavior is their lack of empathy. Narcissists struggle to see beyond their own needs and desires, making it difficult for them to understand or care about the feelings of others. This lack of empathy allows them to inflict emotional or psychological pain on others without feeling remorse. They view people more as tools to achieve their own ends rather than as individuals with their own needs and feelings. When someone no longer serves a purpose or threatens their self-image, a narcissist can discard them without a second thought. The cruelty they exhibit is often a byproduct of this emotional detachment and objectification of others. This behavior is further exacerbated by the narcissist's deep-rooted insecurity. Despite their outward confidence, most narcissists are plagued by feelings of inadequacy and fear of being exposed as less than they pretend to be. This fear drives them to be constantly vigilant, always on the lookout for any sign that someone might see through their facade. When they perceive that someone has seen their weaknesses, they react with aggression to silence that person and prevent them from revealing the truth. This defensive aggression can come across as mean or cruel, as it is often disproportionate to the situation that triggered it. Narcissists are also prone to manipulation, using others to fulfill their own needs while disregarding the impact of their actions. They may lie, deceive, or exploit people without remorse, all in the pursuit of maintaining their image or achieving their goals. This manipulation can be subtle, often leaving their victims feeling confused or doubting their own perceptions. When the manipulation is exposed, narcissists can become vindictive, seeking to destroy the reputation or well-being of those who dared to call them out. This vindictiveness can manifest in various ways, from social sabotage to legal action. Narcissists are often willing to go to great lengths to punish those who have crossed them, even if it means destroying relationships, careers, or lives. Their need for revenge is fueled by a sense of entitlement and a belief that they deserve to be treated with deference and respect at all times. When they feel they have been wronged, they see it as an affront to their very identity, and they are driven to exact revenge to restore their sense of power and control. The mean and vengeful behavior of narcissists can also be linked to their need for admiration. Narcissists thrive on external validation. And when they don't receive the admiration they crave, they can become resentful and hostile. This is particularly true when they perceive that someone else is receiving the attention or praise they believe they deserve. Their jealousy can lead them to undermine others, spreading rumors, or engaging in smear campaigns to diminish the accomplishments of their perceived rivals. In their mind, the success of others is a direct threat to their own self-worth, and they must retaliate to reassert their superiority. This need for admiration can also lead to a pattern of idealization and devaluation in their relationships. Narcissists often start relationships by placing the other person on a pedestal, showering them with praise and attention. However, this idealization phase is usually short-lived, as the other person inevitably fails to live up to the narcissist's unrealistic expectations. When this happens, the narcissist quickly shifts to devaluation, treating the person with disdain and cruelty. This cycle of idealization and devaluation is a way for the narcissist to maintain their sense of superiority while avoiding the vulnerability that comes with genuine emotional connections. The devaluation phase can be particularly mean and hurtful, as the narcissist often goes out of their way to belittle and humiliate the person they once praised. This behavior is a defense mechanism, allowing the narcissist to distance themselves from any feelings of vulnerability or dependency. By devaluing others, they reinforce their own sense of superiority and control, all while avoiding the discomfort of genuine emotional intimacy. The cruelty they exhibit during this phase is a reflection of their own fear of being exposed as flawed or inadequate. Narcissists are also adept at playing the victim, turning situations around to make themselves appear as the wronged party. This victim mentality allows them to justify their mean and vengeful behavior, as they convince themselves that they are merely defending themselves against unjust attacks. This manipulation of reality serves to protect their fragile ego while allowing them to continue their abusive behavior without feeling guilty. By positioning themselves as the victim, they deflect responsibility for their actions and place the blame on others, further fueling their anger and need for revenge. This victim mentality can also lead to a phenomenon known as narcissistic injury, where the narcissist experiences intense emotional pain in response to perceived slights or criticisms. This injury is often followed by narcissistic rage, an explosive and disproportionate response to the injury. During these episodes of rage, the narcissist's mean and vengeful tendencies are amplified, leading to aggressive and destructive behavior. This rage is not just an expression of anger but a desperate attempt to protect their fragile self-esteem and reassert their dominance over the perceived threat. In many cases, the narcissist's meanness and vengefulness are a reflection of their own inner turmoil. Despite their outward appearance of confidence and superiority, most narcissists are deeply unhappy and insecure individuals. They are constantly seeking validation and approval from others, but no amount of praise or admiration is ever enough to fill the void they feel inside. This emptiness drives them to behave in ways that are hurtful and destructive, as they try to protect themselves from the painful reality of their own inadequacy. Their relationships are often characterized by a lack of genuine connection and an overemphasis on control and power. The narcissist's need to dominate and control others is a way to compensate for their own feelings of powerlessness and vulnerability. This dynamic leads to a toxic cycle of manipulation, cruelty, and revenge, as the narcissist seeks to assert their dominance over those around them while avoiding any threat to their fragile self-esteem. Over time, this behavior can lead to a deepening sense of isolation and loneliness for the narcissist. As they alienate those around them with their mean and vengeful behavior, they are left with fewer and fewer people to manipulate and control. This isolation can exacerbate their feelings of inadequacy and insecurity, leading to an even greater need for control and a more intense drive for revenge. The narcissist's world becomes a vicious cycle of pain, anger, and retribution, with no escape from the inner turmoil that drives their behavior. In the end, the mean and vengeful behavior of narcissists is a reflection of their own deep-seated psychological issues. Their need for control, dominance, and admiration is a way to protect their fragile self-esteem and avoid the painful reality of their own inadequacy. Their lack of empathy, manipulation, and vindictiveness are all tools they use to maintain their sense of superiority and avoid facing their own vulnerabilities. While their behavior may be hurtful and destructive to those around them, it is ultimately a reflection of their own inner pain and insecurity. Understanding why narcissists are so mean and vengeful requires a deep dive into their psychological makeup and the dynamics of their relationships with others. At the core, their behavior is driven by a desperate need to protect their fragile self-esteem and maintain their grandiose self-image. Their cruelty and vindictiveness are defense mechanisms that allow them to avoid facing their own vulnerabilities and insecurities. While this behavior can be deeply hurtful to those around them, it is important to remember that it is ultimately a reflection of the narcissist's own inner turmoil and pain. By recognizing the underlying causes of their behavior, we can better understand the complex and often destructive dynamics of narcissistic relationships and take steps to protect ourselves from their harmful effects.